something goofy and went trick-or-treating or something.
We have a little boy's birthday party.
Right. Hey, welcome everybody to Pregame. About a half a minute of pregame for the Sword Coast Chronicles. My name is DM Galabond. I'm being joined by the players on the Discord and on the Roll20 and stream. Tonight, you're hearing different music. This music is being brought to you by Sirenscape. This is from a sound set called Elven Vale Daytime. Now, players, if you're not hearing any music, if you go to the voice channel, you will see a little live, I think next to my tag. And if you click on that, that will launch the Sirenscape player, and you will be able to hear the music through that. Now, tonight is going to be a test run. We're going to run it with music pre-game and at break, like we normally do. But as we get more confident that it's actually working the way it's supposed to, and we figure out what the lag is and everything, I may start going ahead and using it to give us some sound effects and battle music and stuff like that nice. Are all part of the Sirenscape application. But it's really cool, and I have done tests with it over the last few weeks on Monster Monday, and indeed there's no copyright strikes or anything like that. They don't mute any of your videos, and apparently that is as long as you simply don't. EULA says as long as you don't just turn on Sirenscape and broadcast that on Twitch or YouTube for people to listen to. That's the no-no. But if you use it as background for your games, you're fine. So that's what we are doing. When we get to later on, I'll see if everybody has been able to hear it. But for right now, I am going to go ahead and turn this down, because when I hear it in my ears, it sometimes throws me off. So
I could hear it, and now I can't hear it very well. But
right, because I just turned the volume down. So, all right, welcome, players, welcome, viewers. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight on Sword Coast Chronicles. This is section 69 of Sword Coast Chronicles. I believe we've almost had 70 sessions of this game. We are in the storyline of Storm King's Thunder, and we are back for the second time in the Grand Hall of Lyn Armaal, the throne room. And the characters have been meeting with Count Thulin and Felgolos, two of their allies. And they have been making plans for how they are going to pursue King Hekaton's captors. Now, last time they talked about taking the castle and flying the castle out towards Maelstrom, and perhaps checking in with Princess Sarissa when they get there. The dragon, Felgolos, has said that when he learned that the Kraken Society was involved, and when he learned that Imrith, the Blue Dragon, was involved, he discussed with King Hekaton, who seems amenable to the plan. Felgolos said that he would plan to fly and try to rally to support some other metallic dragons that he knows who have a beef with Imrith. If there's going to be a confrontation with Imrith, then, dragons are not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it because Imrith is an ancient blue dragon who's sitting on an incredible hoard of treasure. And the dragons are like, oh yeah, well, I could add more to my hoard. I could take some of that that used to belong to her. So they're kind of looking for a payday. And as the discussion comes to a close and people get ready to walk off, something happens. And the something that happens is this. I thought I had this document open and I didn't. So I've got to go open it. All right. All right. So All right. As everyone finishes their discussion with Felgolos and Count Thulin in the Thorn Room, you all notice something.
Oh.
There's a sudden shift in the wind, and it brings with it a strange sense of unease. The feeling is akin to the drop in air pressure before the approach of a deadly storm, or faint tremors as felt from a landslide or an earthquake far, far away. And you're not the only ones who've noticed this. Count Thulin looks around the throne room, an expression of confusion on his face, and he bumps his temple with the heel of his hand as though he has water in his ear or something. Meanwhile, Felgolos, the bronze dragon, goes rigid. His eyes widen in surprise or alarm, and they seem to burn with a fiery emerald glow. He pulls his lips back and utters a draconic snarl for a long moment. Just as suddenly, the feeling of unease passes, and Count Thulin looks over to Felgolos with concern, uncertain what has angered or agitated the dragon and what the creature may do next. What do you do?
So we see both have recognized something.
Both have recognized something. Count Thulin's reaction is more of confusion and something which is a little bit similar to probably your reactions. What's going on? But it seems to have had more of an effect on Felgolos.
In Draconic. Because I don't think there's anybody else that understands Draconic besides the dragon.
Yeah, I do.
Well, Mulek would. But in Draconic, I asked Lord Felgolos what happened.
He gradually relaxes and he closes his eyes for a few moments before he answers you. When he opens them again, he says, I fear something terrible has just happened. An ancient horn has just sounded. One that is loud enough for the sound to carry around the world. And one that is tuned so that only dragonkind can hear it clearly. 2 such horns are known to exist, and a third is rumored. One horn is used to call metallic dragons to assemble for war. But what I heard was not that horn. This was a horn known as the Drakhorn. The Drakhorn summons chromatic dragons to assemble. I don't know what that means, but it can't mean anything good.
Now, is he saying that in common or draconic?
He answers that in common.
Okay.
Well,
I
it sure
would-
as hell ain't any good. I can tell you that. That damn dragon cult's up to it.
Did they do we know if they had a horn? Did we?
You hadn't heard anything one way or the other.
Have Falazure ever heard anything about these ancient legends of horns?
Sure. Well, maybe. You are welcome to make a. I guess it would be a history check
You
based
bothered
on.
to translate any of this discussion for the rest of us that can't speak?
The dragon answered in common.
Oh, okay.
I
Dragon-
spoke to him in draconic and he answered it.
Yeah.
While this is going on, Mulik's going to make sure he still has possession of his horn of silent alarm to make sure it wasn't his horn that was blown and caused the problem.
That'll
Okay.
knows nothing.
Oh. Never mind.
You didn't roll
Can
an
others
eight.
of us? Can others of us also?
Yeah. Anybody who wants to can make a history check.
Oh, okay.
I'm making errors already. My bad.
Yay!
Oh wow,
Dang.
Belle.
Hey, a lore bard that
First
knows
nat
something.
20.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Belle, you do know for sure. You have heard of this Drakhorn. Let's see. You've heard this Drakhorn. The Drakhorn was a gift that was given to the to 5 ancient chromatic dragons, and it was a divine gift from Tiamat that dates to the war between the giants and the dragons. And it's a signaling device, and it is large enough that it requires either one huge dragon or 3 large creatures or 5 medium creatures to hold it. And when it is blown, it sends a call that resonates through the air and through the ground, and it can be sensed by other creatures, but it can only be audibly heard by dragons. And while all dragons will hear it, only chromatic dragons will feel a sense of urgency to assemble at its call. So like Felgolos could hear it. He knew what it was, but he wouldn't, because it's the kind of sound that radiates around the world, he really wouldn't have any idea where it actually came from. But chromatic dragons would feel drawn toward it.
Now, does Belle tell us any of this, or do I know a little bit? Or I rolled an 18.
You would know of it, but yeah, I'm presuming that Belle would alert, would tell everybody what she knows about it in one form or another. She might either recount part of a song that details that, or she might tell you part of a manuscript that she read somewhere, or she might relate something in a story that's about dragons or whatever. But you'd basically get that information because
The blue
she got
dragon.
a nat 20.
What's a blue dragon considered? They're just natural dragons, aren't they? They're not chromatic.
Oh, they are chromatic. Chromatic is the
Yep.
colored dragons. So
I got you. Chromatic and then metallic. Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
Color
So the-
dragons good, chromatic dragons bad.
and then
Gotcha.
gem.
Yeah.
Then you have gem
Gem
dragons.
dragons, yeah. So I look over at Ballinger. I go, "You think the cult of the dragon and that blue dragon is up to this?" Sounds like it to me. She did grab the necklace.
I'd be willing to stake my life on it.
Or wager a bet.
Fallinger just kind of looks over at Belle. See if she speaks up.
Risk
says
your
anything.
life on everything. That doesn't mean anything anymore. She kind of like snaps her bow back from his hands and just puts back on and just gives him a little scuff.
Mulek, what
Well-
say you?
I think we let the dragon tell us what they feel is best, or if there's anything that we need to do, or if anything we can do on our way to the Western Sea.
Felgolos says, well, I had already planned to visit some of my fellow metallic dragons and ask them if they could aid us in our current errand. I may venture closer to civilizations of the humanoids and see if I can contact some of those that I know to prefer to spend their time among humans. If they may be able to provide me with more insight.
Well, I mean, this is pretty serious. I mean, do you think the Metallic Council will get together?
Oh, I have no doubt that there will be councils. They will probably assemble, but we cannot... you came to me on an errand from Mordenkainen. And if I know Mordenkainen, if he doesn't know about all of these goings on already, he has some inkling. I think that his errand must be somehow linked with this. So we cannot simply abandon the quest that we are on from Mordenkainen. But it would not be amiss if we are able to find out more about what's going on.
Well, I've been on the heels of this dragon cult for a few months now. And I'm not surprised this is going on in one bit.
It sounds like something that they would do if they thought they could get away with it.
So it really, really is true. You're trying to bring Tiamat back.
I'm afraid that it is.
What do you think their next move is? I mean, blowing the horn, that's signaling to go to war or some kind of council? I mean, what do you think is their next move?
I do not know. They are I would have to talk with some of my fellow metallic dragons and see what they have learned. You have been, as you say, you knew about some of the dealings of this cult some months ago, but through no fault of your own, you have been sidetracked and waylaid from following that trail. Perhaps through some of my contacts, we can find people that, or find information that is more current as to what is going on.
What the big lizard? I haven't been sidetracked at all. I just have other important friends to take care of and kill. Oh, about that elf. To go off and then still think about herself.
Well, all right then.
Just out of curiosity, Felgolos,
Yes.
who would be the oldest, wisest elder of your council?
The Council of the Metallic Dragons. Well, it hasn't assembled in quite a long time.
Would you say that he's both powerful and wise?
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely he would be. Or she.
When do you think we'd be able to hear back from you?
Well, seeing as how right now we are, and he will consult his mental map, which is more mental than the actual visual map I have to consult. Seeing as how we are now to the east of the Southwood, in the shoulders of the Grey Peak Mountains. That puts us nearly due east from Waterdeep. One of the Silvers that I know lives among the humanoids in that great metropolis of Waterdeep. I shall travel that way, and if the Count here can set a course with the castle towards the coast, maybe between Waterdeep and Daggerford, then it will not take me as long to return to the castle as it does to get to Waterdeep. So,
well, I could probably help you with that. I could teleport you there. I need to take somebody with me, but I need to do some investigating at the harbor's master's records. I need to look up a ship and see if its hull was created there.
Would you like me to help you? I got some insight in that, if you'd like.
Yeah, definitely, Thaldor. I would appreciate that.
I did a little work for the trades down there, so yeah, I can give you a hand.
Mulek can come with us as well, just to be safe, I think. What say you, Mulek?
Sure. Yep.
Now, out of character, we haven't had a chance to rest at all, have we?
No, we'll need to rest.
Yeah, we'll need a rest.
I need to rest until tomorrow at dawn, and then I can use this magical item to get us to Waterdeep really quickly, if you like.
Okay. And Count Thulin, he kind of does some mental arithmetic. And he says, well, we're approximately 500 miles inland from Waterdeep. Once we climb to altitude and set the cruise, it should be by perhaps sundown tomorrow. We will be nearing the coast. So if those of you who wish to teleport, go there. If you spend some time in Waterdeep, we will be reaching the coast about then. And Felgolos says, Falajor, speed is of the essence, so I will take you up on your offer. We can leave when you are ready. You all say you need to rest the night. That's fine. We will leave at first light in the morning. Count, I would still urge, if you don't mind, I would still urge getting us underway as quickly as possible. And he says, oh, of course. So out of character, the castle has a speed. It can travel in 24 hours. Its normal cruise speed will take it 320 miles. So it will, go. It then takes approximately 3 days to go 1,000 miles. So that's about the time frame we're looking at. And for rough estimates of long travel, that's about what we're going to use. We're going to say about 1,000 miles in 3 days, because of course it just travels at one speed. It never needs to stop. It doesn't need to rest. It just goes. And it moves with the well, actually, it doesn't even care about what direction the air currents are moving because of its magical locomotion. So anybody who's looking up and looking too closely at the clouds might see one cloud going a different direction than all the other clouds, depending on what the weather is doing. But otherwise, from the ground, it just looks like a cloud. So yeah, that will do. So yeah, you can get there, and then once Felgolos decides what he can find out from Waterdeep, if he decides to go to other cities, you guys can talk to him and see whether you all would want to try to use the helm, or whether he would just fly to those cities and then rendezvous back with everybody on the castle as it continues to make its way out to sea.
He said he needs to get to Waterdeep ASAP, right?
Right. So, it would take him. You guys have to rest. How fast would he fly?
How fast can he move in 8 hours?
Yeah, I'm. Okay. Actually, you know what? He would get there. He would get there after nightfall tonight. and you all would have to basically wait until after a long rest tonight to go in the morning. So, yeah, he could go there faster himself and be there ahead of you, but he could definitely meet up with you.
Bowser, what say you?
That sounds good to me.
Okay. He says, I am partial to the ambiance of the Yawning portal. Would you all mind meeting there? Say 2:00 tomorrow afternoon? We could have a drink and share what we've learned.
Sounds good to me. As long as Volo don't bug us.
Oh, I can make sure that Master Volo does not bother us.
I never had a problem with that guy. I thought he was always pretty interesting.
He's gaudy and gets on my nerves because he thinks he knows more than me.
Well, he's a fellow bard, maybe it's just more professional courtesy, I guess.
That is a possibility. While I can take the guise of a humanoid, and I usually do when I am in a human city, to avoid all kinds of unfortunate side effects, then I still have the ability to use my draconic presence. If I see Volo, I will make him soil his britches and run the other way.
To see that.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that, because he would probably put it in a story if it did.
I'd pay for that book.
All right. All right. So you guys want to. You guys basically want to go ahead and
recharge
see about getting a rest. Okay. Felgolos is going to make a quick trip down to his lair. He has one of his lairs is located here in this area, which is why the castle is here. And he comes back in about 15 minutes, and he flies around the top of the castle and gets close enough to say, without shouting it across the mountainside, that he is off to Waterdeep, and he expects to meet you there tomorrow afternoon. And then you can watch as he speeds off to the west and very quickly disappears into the clouds. And well, it seems like it's very quickly. Must have been a few minutes, because by the time you finish looking, you turn around and you see that the castle itself has started to move away from the mountain and is drifting to the west on its own, and it seems to be climbing a little bit. So the cloud that it is on is rising up into the air, rising towards the level of most of the other clouds, which look to be a little bit higher on the mountain than this cloud was. So it begins to head to the west, and that means that you guys can begin to decide what you are going to do. It's probably a little bit after midday by now. No, wait a minute. What time was it when you guys?
Yeah, it's like morning,
No.
or isn't it? Not morning.
Oh,
it's
no.
Late morning, midday. Because we finished that thing in the evening, and then we decided to come to do a rest, but to come here, and so it's still earlier in the day.
Okay. And then the main thing that you have to wait on is the recharging of the helm.
Yeah,
because you guys used the 3 charges. One charge to get here, and then Faerun did his test, which wound up taking him to, he thinks, down to Chult and back.
He saw something that didn't want to see him.
Yeah. Saw something that was not happy about him being on those rocks, which might mean that he might have been close to something valuable. If anybody ever does something about that dragon turtle down in Chult, it might be a place worth going and investigating again.
Just keep that in the back of your mind, Faerun.
Yeah, we'll go back and deal with that turtle ourselves.
That'd make a lot of turtle soup.
Okay,
we could feed a village for months.
So Felgolos is gone. Count Thulin has gone over to the control room. And I think the way that I have these maps here, that's on a separate map. So I'll just go ahead and mark him as off of this layer. All right. So
I guess we can grab us a good meal. It's been a minute since we ate something good. Them ogres do know how to cook.
Yes, they do. And you guys actually, when Count Thulin starts walking around and everything, it's not long before 2 6-foot-tall humanoids show up. And these are the niece and nephew of Count Thulin. And they look like it's just been a few days since you've seen them, but you swear they have grown. They still look like they are. They have the features of kids that are about 4 or 5 years old, but they are obviously 6 feet tall because they are giant kids. And they look at you and they say, "Hey, you're back!" And they, Kaltar, who is the boy, he will look at Bell. And he will run over to Bell and he says, "Oh, you're back!" And he in kind of the impulsive way of a child, he just sort of grabs Bell, lifts her up, and spins around with her, and laughs, and then puts her down. And he says, "More stories? More songs?" Is Ivy still with us? Or are you guys still? Okay.
Yeah, we're here.
We're just
Okay.
waiting for her
Yeah,
to
we're here.
respond.
Okay. She might have had to step away.
She sent a message saying uno moment. So
Oh.
maybe that
Should
was
be
about
okay.
9 minutes ago.
I just
Okay.
track the kids as I walk up and I start doing the coin trick, where I pull the coin out from behind their ears and twirl it through my fingers and make it disappear.
They will laugh and giggle, and they say, "We're going to have dinner. You want to have dinner with us?"
Guys, everybody
Is it
hungry?
the
'Cause I know-
kiddos?
Yeah, it's the kiddos.
Yes, it's the kiddos.
And Belle's instantly gonna go get dinner with them.
Okay. Yeah. What you may have missed is we couldn't hear you, so I don't know whether you were able to hear us or not. When the boy Kaltar saw you, he ran up to Belle and sort of in an impulsive way of a child, he grabbed Belle, lifted her up, and spun around with her a couple of times, and then set her down and said, "Do you have more stories and more songs?"
She'll kind of like freeze. She doesn't know who it is. Like her claws will come out. She'll like attach herself to him, but she won't physically try to like rip him or anything like that. So it's trying to stabilize herself.
Yeah. Oh, well, you recognize them because these are the kids that you told stories to and everything. So you recognize them.
Belle.
Yeah. But this is a 5-year-old with the size and strength of a grown human. Because it's a 5-year-old storm giant.
She'll be so more than willing to tell them more stories and things like that. And she'll tell them about the giant crab that she saw down under the water and how people were beating it with sticks, but like it enjoyed it and they were playing on it and it was weird. And I ate one of its cousins like not too long ago. I stabbed a spear right through it. Oh my God. I wonder if the crabs could feel anything. Like if they're connected.
And Alastra she'll turn her head sideways and then she'll look over at Mulek and she says, "They were hitting the crab. That doesn't sound very nice. Do you think that was nice?" Okay, now did we lose James?
Oh, no, sorry. I actually did. It was just a crab shell. Right?
Oh, it
No, it was a
alive.
living crab.
No, it was a living
crab?
Yeah, it was a living crab.
It was a big crab.
Yeah, when I was sneaking around, I was watching them. The crab was going, and stuff. No, it was a living crab.
Oh,
I think just the way that the barnacles or whatever the flutes were attached to its shell when they were tapping the shell, and that's what made the resonance. I would imagine.
yeah. The shell's very thick. It wouldn't have harmed.
Yeah, it wouldn't have hurt it.
It wouldn't have harmed us.
Could have hurt us, but it's all.
And she says, "I would like to see that one day. Maybe I can see that. You say that you talked to a princess there?"
Like 2 or 3 of them. Well, one of them turned out to be evil. But then the other 2 were kind of like cranky. But then the other one, that one was really nice. Oh no, the really strict one was the queen who looked really cranky, and then the other 2 were cranky, and then the one good one. Yeah, there's 3 princesses and 1 queen, but the queen wasn't actually a queen, it was a dragon. The dragon was like grr and mad and tried to kill us, but then they grabbed something very important and she strode off like, "No, I'm not going to fight you because we're too good for you." So you know what? Shame on that dragon.
Well, Uncle says that the dragon here is nice, but
Yes, this dragon's very nice. He's very big and he's very scary, but don't let him intimidate you. He's probably a big old dragon on the inside. Wait, that came out wrong.
But does that mean all dragons are nice? She's very confused by this.
So Thaldor says it in a child's level. There are some good dragons and bad dragons, and the one we met down there was a bad dragon. But dragons like Lord Felgolos is a good dragon, and he'll protect you and he'll teach you lots of things.
Oh.
So while we're sitting here with the kids, Thaldor tries to teach the kids at least hello in Draconic. So, I mean, basic kids level. He's sitting there trying to teach them how to say hello. Just something simple.
And about the best you can get as they wander with you over towards the dining hall. About the best that you can get with them is where they will say what sounds to your ears in Draconic like "hero."
But it's still cute. I mean, it's just that, when Lord Felgolos comes back and the kids say to him hello in Draconic, it's gonna probably shock him. Probably proud.
Yeah. It might very well.
Would also be trying to pick up these lessons and still try and continue to talk in it.
I look over at Belle. I'm like, just a little more inflection on the, it's right there on that low growl. We just got,
She'll turn around and just hiss at him.
and then with the boy tries something. He tries to make his voice sound too deep, and it comes out like as a belching sound, and then that sends the two kids into just fits of giggles. They just start giggling, and then the girl starts pretend belching, and the boy starts pretend belching, and they just go into more fits of giggles. And at this point, trying to teach them anything is just going to be hopeless because they're having too much fun.
Good kids.
Yeah. So, so they. All right. So they take you to the dining hall, and the ogres have a big spread on. There's some some large cuts of meat. Whatever creature this was taken from, the cut of steak that they have for Count Thulin. It looks like something like a porterhouse, but it's a porterhouse sized for a cloud giant. So it's a really, really big cut of steak, and they're delighted to see you, and they will ask you if they should expect inspections of the kitchen again. And they promise that they have everything very tidy and in perfect order. But they're a little bit sad because the queen or the countess never got to try the cake that they made for her, and they think that the count was very sad about the countess's loss because he had a very tiny little piece of the cake, and then he just got very sad and couldn't look at it, and he threw the rest of it away. which, as players, you may remember something you had done.
Oh God. Yes. That horrid cake.
Yeah,
Had
the pie
had them put a bunch of
Hot
hot sauce in it.
on the pie on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was a good plan at the time.
It was a pie or a cake, whatever it was.
Pumpkin pie.
Yeah, pumpkin pie. So, yeah, he had a tiny little piece of it, and then he threw it out, and they think it's because he was so upset about her dying. So,
I pulled the ogres aside and said, "You don't have to put any more of the special sauce on the pumpkin pie, okay?"
oh, no, well, it was, we heard it was so good, we used it all on that pie.
Oh goodness! Throw that pie out. If we give you any more, yeah.
It's already gone. It's
Thank-
already gone.
Thank goodness. And plus, if we give you any more special sauce, put that in like stews and meats, and use very little of it.
Oh.
It'll give it a little
Okay.
bit of a kick.
Oh, okay. They say, all right, we will do that. But they ask you what you want to eat, and they have a surprisingly well-stocked larder. Here, there's poultry, there's some cured fish, which they can prepare in a number of different ways. There's some beef, and it is, of course, medieval preservatives, which means all of the preserved meat is very heavily salted. So it's like having a bit of meat with your rock salt. Is it's what it tastes like. But they do have a number of fresh vegetables that they grow from their garden, and they're able to cook those and have those with the meal and everything. But it's all in all, for a medieval palate, it's pretty tasty. For a modern palate, it would probably be not so much, but for a medieval palate, it tastes pretty good.
Yeah, Mulik's not too picky.
Okay. So what are we going to do after dinner? Just go ahead and turn in, or does anybody want to do anything specific?
Mulik's just going to continue studying his scrolls. He's going to spend some time studying.
Okay. All right. You want to head to the library for that, or?
Yeah, and just somewhere quiet. Yeah.
Okay. So
I'll join him in the library, and I'll start reading a lot of the maps and books and things they have up there.
Okay. They will actually, at some point, Felgolos will take you to the let's see, I think it's area 30. Is that what it is? I think that's what I'm looking at. Yes. He will take you to this. He will take you to this. Oh, we haven't been there, so I haven't removed it from the thing yet. He will take you over here. very high up in the top of the largest tower, and then it has a small spire tower that hangs off the edge of it. But you go into a circular room, and he has a key of sorts that he will use to open the door. And when you get in there, you see in this room there is a floating 10 feet above the floor. In the middle of the circular room is a glowing orb that looks like it's made of crystal the color of clouds. Inside wall of the room is painted with a lavish mural of a cloud giant city made up of dozens of joined cloud castles. The domed ceiling is made up of overlapping shells of thin black metal with glowing shards of crystal set into star-shaped sockets. The crystals represent the stars in the night sky, and Count Thulin will tell you that when night falls, those metal plates automatically adjust so that the constellations on the roof or on the ceiling of this room match the constellations outside based on where the castle is and what time of year it is. So that you can literally just simply stand here, look up, and navigate by celestial navigation where you want to go. And there's not this orb that you see is not resting on anything. It's just like suspended in midair. And it's maybe 18 inches across, and it looks like it's made, like I said, of solid crystal. But as Count Thulin approaches it, little cloudy forms take shape in that crystal, and those clouds move around. And he doesn't actually ever physically touch it, but he holds his hands, and he will sort of brush his hand one way or another, and you can see this orb just sort of rotates a little bit as he does. And he says, "This is the navigation orb. This is what I use to tell the castle where to go. I normally don't allow anyone else in here, but we were talking before about possibly trying to scry on this ship, this Morkoth. What do you know about it?"
Who is he asking? Me?
He's asking whoever came up there with him. So I guess definitely it would be Thaldor, and if anybody else.
Probably Mulik.
Would the kids be going upstairs with them?
No, the kids would not be.
And Belle would not be there.
So I guess me, Mulik, maybe Falliger, us three would be up there probably.
Okay.
Well, Belle does have scrying, so she should be up there, but she ain't.
Yeah, all I know is the ship is named Morkoth, and it set sail out of Luskin.
I pulled some pages from his journal. Is there anything in the pages of the journal that I pulled that would describe it better and who's commanding the ship?
It does tell you who the commander is. Let's see.
Because I know it's a percentage if you know a little information about them or something. I guess it's how scrying works. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. It has the name of the ship, and the name of the captain is Tholes Daggerdark. Let's see. Yes.
Thol's Daggerdark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daggerdark is his last name.
Thult's Daggerdark. I'll put it in the. I'll put it in the NPC.
Yeah,
news
so I have the
notification.
copy of his journal here. Let's see.
But I don't think looking at that journal, I don't think it gives you much of a description of the ship itself.
Yeah, the ship is captained by the one Thol's Daggerdark. Yep.
Yeah,
All I know is it's out of Luskin, and it's operated by people who worship the Kraken.
Slack Thrill. Yep. And the captain of the ship is Thol's Daggerdark.
and he says, "Well, that's not much to go on. I don't hold out much hope, but give me a few moments of silence, please." And he takes his hands and he holds his hands. He puts his thumbs together, and he just holds his hands maybe a foot above this orb, and he seems to close his eyes for a moment, and then he opens them, but he's staring intently down at the orb between his fingers. And as he does, you see the little cloud forms and everything swirl around, and then eventually the orb becomes as clear as crystal. And it stays as clear as crystal for about a minute or two. And then you can see kind of in that way that as you look through a glass where sometimes things look like they're backwards, you can see a shimmering, looks like you are underneath seawater, and looking up through seawater at the surface. And beyond that seawater, you just simply see the concentrated gaze of Count Thulin looking back down at the orb. Because obviously it's above you and it's below him. So he's looking down at it, you're looking up at it. And you just see what looks like seawater for about 5 or 10 minutes. And you don't see anything else. And then he finally relaxes. And he puts his head down and he lets out a long sigh and he says, "Oh, alas, no. No, I was not able to find it. I thought about what we know of the boat and that it was in a trackless sea. And all that I could see is the sea itself."
That was a good shot.
If we learn more, perhaps I will be able to tell more.
We got to get to the docks of the harbor, Waterdeep, and see if we can find any papers on that ship.
Indeed, that would be helpful.
Maybe images, pictures, where it was killed, hold, where it was made. There would be those type of records.
Yeah, anything that would help me get more familiar with it as a ship.
Are you saying that you would teleport right onto the ship?
Well, I'd have a much better chance, I do believe.
That's like trying to hit a sling rock going at, fast as can be and landing right on it.
Well, since our last trip there, the old... Where's the town we just came from? I forgot.
Yartar.
Since our last trip from Yartar, I think I got a little bit of favor of Timora in me, if you know what I mean.
Luck can only get us so far, Falliger.
Well, sometimes it's all you need.
Wish I could believe that, my friend. I really do sometimes, but luck runs out eventually. But it's a probability. If you have more information on the ship, worst comes to worst, you end up in the middle of the ocean. But to be honest with you, I don't want to be anywhere near the water after what I've seen.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, my friend.
Yeah, and I might just burn it to the ground. But I'm telling you that I don't want to be anywhere on the water, near the water. If that thing saw me, that's the last thing I need. And if the closer we get to it, how do we know it can't see me again? So, it's really interesting. But at the same time, maybe we can just get in and get out. Find King Hekaton, get the hell out, go back to the, Maelstrom, and, all said and done. It wouldn't hurt to have a bunch of storm giants behind us going into this. They could handle the big kraken monster, whatever, because we couldn't handle it ourselves.
Yeah. Are we about ready? Head out, you think?
To Waterdeep? Yeah.
Yeah.
If we've rested, yeah, for sure.
Oh, did we rest?
No.
Not yet.
But we
First thing in the morning.
we can fast forward to the day if nobody has anything else they want to do in particular. Count Thulin will inform you guys and will show you there's been some minor remodeling that's not necessarily reflected here. This chamber over here that I am pinging has been outfitted with several cots that are oversized for humans. They're actually sized more for ogres. So they're like enormous cots, but they have been set out in this room, and this is basically the closest thing that Lyn Armaal has to guest quarters for small folk, if you will. So you guys can rest there. It is nearby this study area and not too far away from the library area. So, and then of course, Count Thulin sleeps in this chamber here, and the kids are in this chamber here. And this is kind of the kids' playroom.
All right. Well, Mulek will do whatever studying, and then he will rest and eat, and doesn't really have anything specific, other than maybe wanting to. There was a library here, right?
Yep, that is this room right here.
So I may want to, at some point during our travels, peruse in the library some more. But for now, good with just getting a good rest and then assisting Falliger and Thaldor.
Yeah, the library here, about half of the books in the library are actually sized for cloud giants.
Oh,
and there's they all seem to be categorized, and there seems to be a system in the way that they are shelved, and the way that they are organized. But then there are two other sections where there's neat piles, but it's piles as opposed to shelved books that are of human size. And as you go and you look at one set of those books, you can see that the books in one pile appear to be human-sized versions of books that are in giant size in this library. The other pile of books are human-sized, and they don't seem to have any giant-sized counterpart in the library. And so I'm not sure what that's all about, but
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't study now. I wouldn't.
okay. Okay.
But I may later.
Okay. Well then, anybody else have anything in particular they want to do during this day, or do we want to just fast forward to getting a night's rest and then up in the morning?
A rest and then get up in the morning.
Okay.
I think we're all tired after being up all night.
Okay. Well then, you will the very next day. You can assemble wherever you wish to assemble, and Count Thulin will. I guess he would probably intend to see you off in the morning, unless you had told him you were going to take off at first light, which either way would be okay with him. But he would just he would probably intend to see you off, if you'll permit it. And then let's see. That means I have to go back and look at this again, and we're going to say that for purposes of teleportation, you, Falager, are very familiar with Waterdeep, or at least a certain part of Waterdeep, and I'll let you decide whatever part of Waterdeep that is, whether that's a specific street that you spend a lot of time on, or whether that's a specific building that you are very familiar with, or
how about just outside the Yawning portal?
just outside the Yawning portal. Okay, sounds good. You are familiar that there is an enormous plaza in the front of the Yawning portal. You will also know that there's a nice kind of wide but somewhat sheltered alley that is off to the side of the building. So when you teleport, would you be thinking of like just showing up out in the middle of the plaza, or would you want to show up in the alley, or what?
Probably would make more sense to show up in the plaza, or I guess we could do an alley, actually.
Okay, all right.
I don't know how suspicious people would be of just magically teleporting into a plaza.
Probably very.
Out of character question.
It's Waterdeep, so it wouldn't be unheard of, but there is always the danger that you teleport and you're right in front of like a big stagecoach that's coming.
That's true. So
crossing the plaza.
Probably safer to do it in an alley than next to it.
Okay.
Don't want to get my party members ran over by coaches.
It's like everything was fine until, the
teleportation worked, no problem.
Yeah, the teleportation worked fine. It was just that damn stagecoach that was
dexterity checks. No.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
damn
I don't know
coach.
about you,
I
but I can
still
get out of the way
remember
pretty
that
easy.
story.
All right. So, you let me know when you're ready to teleport.
Let's do it.
Just me,
Okay.
Mulek, and Ballinger.
Is it just the three of us, and the others are going to stay here?
Yeah, we would have just
thanks.
say.
And Dez can go.
Well, I
Well,
mean, okay.
let's ask. Do the other party members want to go, or do they want to stay?
So if we stay, we just wind up floating on this castle for 3 days.
It's about a day and a half.
Until by this afternoon, the castle will be nearing the coast, and so presuming that there's no mishaps in teleportation, and if they found everything they need to find in half a day, they would be there. At worst case, Felgolos would probably, pop into the castle sometime this afternoon and update everybody there on what he has found and what news from the party. But you guys could all go. You could split the party. It's entirely up to you.
Oh, sure. Why don't we tempt fate and just split the party?
Okay. But stay with the kids then.
You guys mind if I bring my Iron Giant with us?
Yeah.
You mean you mind, or you don't mind?
I mean, I just want to get in and out. You know what I mean? I don't want a bunch of people looking at us carrying around a big old shield guardian. You know what I mean?
Will he stick out in Waterdeep?
Where we're
A shield guardian would be unusual. It would be an oddity that people would look at around the Yawning portal, but people would half expect it to be part of some bard's performance, that it was going to appear on stage at some point. So, it's like, oh, cool. I mean, so it would be kind of like a shield guardian Waterdeep would be kind of like when you go to a party with friends of your family, and there's somebody that maybe one person is dating somebody that nobody knows, and they pull up in like a Bugatti, this really super exotic supercar.
Well, we probably don't want to draw attention asking about this ship, right?
Yeah.
Daldor?
Oh, for sure.
All right, I'll leave IG here.
I mean,
Okay.
Another way to look at it is, no, I'm not saying it's probable, but it's possible that if we try to make ourselves as inconspicuous as possible, because maybe there might be a network of spies.
Sure.
Oh, that's for sure. No, that Thalor looks over at Ballinger. Oh no, that is true. There is networks of spies in Waterdeep.
Well, exactly that, and they like to sell information to hell everybody. So I just don't want the Cult of the Dragon to even get a chance of a whiff of our coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, well, I'll have IG stay here.
All right.
Okay. So once we decide the three are going, and everybody gets together in the courtyard, Belle and Dez and Count Felon and IG will stand there and sort of do the Beverly Hillbillies wave at everybody.
I'm not going to look that idiotic.
Okay.
I would probably fall for it though.
Okay, yeah, along with the kids and IG and Count Felon and everyone, and Dez just sitting there with
crossed.
a long suffering look on his face, his pipe out of his mouth, just eyes sort of rolling.
Nobody says, y'all come on back now, you hear? Okay.
I'll just tell you to go F off.
Jeez. Fallinger's like, this is in a mood lately.
Yes, I'll bring you back a present from Waterdeep.
Before Fallinger and then would have left, Belle would have done her signature move and just gave him one of her bells again.
Okay. All right. So
Well, that won't bring any attention. Ding 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 ding.
I know.
I put it on my keychain.
Yeah, there you go.
Keychain.
All right. So the air kind of sparkles around the three of you. There's shimmering motes of light, and the you all hadn't realized that there's a sensation of motion on the castle because the castle is so big. But suddenly you feel like you lurch to a halt. And as the shimmering goes away, you find yourself in a cobblestone alley that is outside of the Yawning portal in Waterdeep. And it is, sun is relatively the same position in the sky because you've traveled, maybe 100 or 200 miles or so at this point to get here.
You're getting better with this, fellas.
Yeah, and it's like Fallister, you had pictured a certain square of bricks in your mind, and the reason you pictured it is because there was one of them that's always a little loose, and it always made kind of a funny sound when you stepped on it, and you had spent some time trying to figure out how you could reproduce that sound because you thought it would be like the perfect percussion sound for a song you were working on at the time. And when you look, you see it's like that brick that you remember is right next to your left foot. So it's like, yep, you pretty much got right where you wanted to be.
Well, what do you want to do first? Go straight to the docks, you think?
Yeah, might as well.
I need to reach my contact in the trader's office that might get us on the whereabouts that we need to go to get at the docks. They would know, I imagine.
Oh, well, all right. We can stop out of there first, I guess.
I know they'd be happy to see me. I did some good work for them.
Felgolos, what are you going to do?
Oh, Felgolos is already here.
Felgolos? Oh.
He flew
during the night
before.
My bad.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Let me reset this.
Yeah, it was a while back when we were in Waterdeep. So yeah, it was just, wasn't the trader's office, Allie? It was the caravan office.
Right. It was the caravan office is where you guys are, where you had some contacts. Yeah, you could go over there now. The Yawning portal is kind of on the it's in the trades ward, not far away from the castle. The caravan office you were working at was kind of on the northern side of the city. So
I think mine was the south side, wasn't it? Where they were coming from the south going north. If I remember correctly.
No, you're right. It was the south side. Okay.
Closer to the docks. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, it was closer to the dock. So yeah, it's maybe a 10, 15 minute walk over there. And you can just kind of go right down some of the main streets. Go out Soothsayer's Way, and either go on the Way of the Dragon or go on the high road down to the main gates of the city. Both of those roads will take you there eventually. So it's kind of up to you.
I would just the
guys
fastest
lead the
way
way.
there. Yeah, fastest way there.
Okay.
Imagine.
All right. So that would probably just be going down the Way of the Dragon because you get to that a little bit closer. And let us see. We are going to find out how good my notes are.
About to say it's been a hot minute.
Because we're going to go back to folder. And, okay. Let's go. I want to say that that's.
So I'm telling Falliger and Mulick, I'm telling them, yeah, my contact here, I did some good work for them while we were in the city, investigating the cult. So they should be able to point us in the right direction, maybe even give us connection inside the harbor master's office to pull the information we need. Might cost a little bit of coin, but I think we can spare it.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah, let's see.
Hey, Mulick, be my eyes when I can't be.
All right. Okay.
Sorry, everybody. I made him dig a little bit.
Yep. All right. Yes. The name of the person that hired you at the trade office there was it was Rordum. Yeah, Rordum Beho or Rordum Beho. I forget how I pronounced it. Yeah. So let's do this. Rordum Beho. Trade officer Shady at the gates of Waterdeep. And when you walk in, he looks up and he says, "I'll be with you in a moment." And then he kind of does a double take and he says, "Oh, my boy, welcome." And he is working with somebody. And he calls over an assistant and he says, "Would you please finish up this transaction here? I have some very important business." And he turns to the customer. He says, "I'm very sorry." He says, "My man here will take care of you. He's one of my best. He's one of my best. But an incredibly important client has just come in. I hope you understand." And the guy is a little incensed that someone just walks in off the street and he gets dropped like a hot potato. But he then waves you and your friends toward him, and he heads back towards an office. And
I'd say I never really explained to Falliger and Mulek what I'd done last time. They had an idea, but they didn't really, I guess, know what I'd done.
And you go in, and he lets you in. He closes the door. And he says, "Oh, my boy, my boy! That was the finest work that I have seen. I was so sad that you had to leave us so quickly. But are you back? And are these associates your apprentices? Are you all looking for more work?"
No, my friend. Actually, I need a favor of you. If it's not too much trouble.
Oh, well, I will do what I can.
I need some information on a ship to see if it was what is the word, Falliger? Not familiar with ships.
Yeah, I do believe if it's what was it out of character, it was like if the kill had been laid here.
Yeah.
The kill had.
So we know if it was killed here in Waterdeep, and I know the only people that would have that information is the Harbor Master's office. And I'm wondering if you have a connection inside the Harbor Master's office that would allow us to get our hands on those documents. No, I'm not worried about an expensive cost. I'm just worried, can you do it?
Well, yes. Let me think. Now you would be looking for someone in the Guild of Shipwrights, not necessarily the sail masters or the rigging masters. Be looking
Correct.
for the shipwrights themselves.
I need the documentation on the ship. Yes, everything we can find out about one ship.
Okay, yes. Well, as it just so happens, there is a gentleman that I owe some documents to. They are done, and I was going to head down toward the docks later on today. But if I could persuade you to deliver these, that would give you a perfect excuse to see my man down there. And well, I think if you put a small amount of coin in the offing, he might be able to give you as much information as he has.
So Thaldor pulls a platinum out of his bag, lays it on the counter. Do you think that would be enough?
Oh, yes. That would do for old Castor. Yes. The person you are looking for is you are looking for Castor Whitley.
Castor Whitley. I can remember that name.
He styles himself as Lord Castor, but between you and me, he holds no noble titles. But if you flatter
that for him for a fee.
I'm sure you could, my boy. He would probably give it to the real Lord, and the real Lord would think that he was the one in the wrong.
Especially with my documents.
Yes. But as I was going to say, if you flatter Mr. Whitley by calling him Lord Castor, that will go a long way to making him more helpful, shall we say. He is a very vain man, and in fact, vanity is probably, of his several vices, vanity is probably the worst. But yes, you asked for a description. Lord Castor dresses in this ridiculous regalia that makes him look like he is part of the High Admiralty. He wears blue breeches that come down to his knees and high white socks that come up to his knees. He wears these black leather shoes with wide buckles across them, and he has a coat that has all kinds of thread of gold across the front with double rows of buttons and absolutely enormous shoulder pads that have little golden tassels hanging off
Huge
of them.
epaulets then on his shoulders. Gotcha.
Yes, he's
gaudy.
Well, yes, he's gaudy. He's no Volo, but he's gaudy.
You see Thalor roll his eyes back in his head. I'm like, oh my god, again?
Yes, but now Lord Castor Whitley holds a position within the guild hall at the Shipwright's house. Shipwright's house, which is right there at the corner of Dock Street and Sternpost Street. That is the order of the Order of Master Shipwrights, and Lord Castor is the High Secretary for Guild Hall affairs. So if you go to him and talk to him, he will know of any ship whose keel has been laid here in Waterdeep within the last 20-25 years.
Works for us. Guys, what do you say?
Lead the way.
It's going to be a trip. Probably take us about 20-25 minutes maybe from here to get to the docks.
Actually, from where you are, no, it's probably about another 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes.
Yeah, because you're very close to the harbor at this point, and once you get to Dock Street, you just kind of follow Dock Street up the docks to get to the Sternpost Street.
So, Fallinger, since you're Captain Charisma, as we're walking out of the office, I tell him thank you and consider this my last job, or I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice, and I throw him a gold piece for old time's sake.
And he says, "Oh, I'm sad. If you ever change your mind, there will always be a desk here for you."
If I need any extra coin between travels, I might come back and see you.
Oh, yes, and I'll make sure that only the high value clientele come to see you.
I appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you, my boy. Thank you, and good luck to you.
And to you. And as we're walking out and we get on the street, I talk to Fallinger Mulek and say, okay, I wasn't 100% honest with you why we came here. Besides the fact I knew he probably had the information we needed. Back when we were in Waterdeep looking for the COD, I'm going to start calling them.
Yeah.
I forged a bunch of high-end paperwork and did really damn good at it, apparently. Better than I thought I did. That it actually ended up earning me, what was it, 4 or 5 platinum, I think?
Yeah. From
the COD for the paperwork. That's how I knew where they were going. That was my plug, so to say, in the city. So that's why he, I guess, dropped everything when I walked through the door. Of course, he doesn't know me as Thaldor. That I used an alias. But yeah. So anytime we come back to Waterdeep, if we need to know where anything is going on at, there's one of my plugs. Besides, of course, the Thieves Guild. But that's one of my big plugs in the city. Who better to have an acquaintance with than one of the caravan operators?
Yeah. Keep your enemies close.
Yeah, and your friends closer. But yeah, I guess we should go meet this Lord, and he puts quotations, Lord, and get what and see. And Valager, do you want to deliver the paperwork?
I guess I can.
Your Captain Charisma. I could always just hand you the paperwork and point him out to you. Just say that our guy sent you. He don't know what you look like. You don't know what I look like. You don't know who we are.
All right.
You're a little bit better at talking to people.
Okay. And as the party members make their way across the waterfront towards the shipwrights hall, I think that's where we're going to go ahead and take our break. I'm going to bring the music back up. And hey, viewers, thank you guys for hanging out with us. I'm going to bring the music back up, and we will. I'm going to mute myself. Players, remember, you guys can stay here and chat on stream, or you can go to the other voice channel and chat off stream. And viewers, the music is a little bit different tonight because we are trying an application called Sirenscape that gives you ambient music for RPGs. And right now, the music that we have is from a sound set they call Elven Veil by Day. All right, I'm going to mute myself so you don't hear my microphone clattering, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Everybody's still here?
Yes. No, not everyone's still here, but yes, I'm here.
Tomorrow is my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Yep. 34 tomorrow.
You're still young.
With lots of
Ish.
problems. Yeah.
We still love you.
Yeah, I know.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
How old are you going to be?
34.
Mm-mm. All right. You know what has to happen.
Birthday whippings?
I have to sing happy birthday to you when everybody gets back and on stream.
Oh.
Oh, we're still on stream.
Yeah, but we're on break. I don't work on breaks.
Wow.
That is true. No work is to be done on breaks.
Then I take breaks wrong because I still just read through my breaks. Oopsie.
Well, in I guess U.S. law, you can do that for your 15-minute breaks on an 8-hour shift, but you cannot do that for your lunch. You are required to take 30 minutes.
In Canada, we're not allowed to either. Like, even for the 15 or 30 minute. But I just lose track of time and I just keep on working. And then I forget to take my breaks.
You got to be careful with that because that can get you and your employer in trouble.
Yeah.
So make sure you take at least your lunch break.
Okay, I'll take a lunch break.
Because some companies can actually fire you for that.
That's just stupid. They should be on top of what they're doing to be able to say, hey, go take your lunch.
I agree.
Instead of, just go take your lunch whenever you feel like it.
We all ought to just show up at our work and be like, make us a sandwich.
Yeah. I don't want to make no sandwich.
Well, that was a joke.
Or was it? Would you make Bella a sandwich?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have no other choice. You're forced to. Kinda.
I'd even be nice and toast it with the art of magic.
Really? With the same magic she uses so she'll know it's magic instead of actually toasted? Oh no.
I need to learn how to play the guitar minimally so I can embarrass y'all on y'all's birthdays.
Yay.
So, just a question out of character. How is the volume? How does the volume come through on this music? Is it?
I haven't checked it.
For the little bit that I listened to beforehand and now clicking back to it now, it seems like a really good background noise. Like, it isn't too loud, it isn't too light. Plus, we as players can directly change the volume for ourselves.
Okay.
So if it's too loud or if we don't want to listen to it type
we
of
can
thing.
have the stream volume. Yeah, we can adjust on our end how loud or quiet we want it. I turned it all the way up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Because I turned it up at the break. I'll turn it back down as we go back into the session, to where it's almost completely off. But when nobody's talking, I can just barely hear it in the background. I don't know how it comes across on the stream, so I'll be curious when I go back and add the chapters to the stream if it can be heard during the session or whether it's just at the break and the pregame. So,
well, if you don't turn it down completely, like on your end, then yeah, it should come through barely in the stream, no matter what.
okay.
Yeah, as long as you don't turn it completely off. It also depends on, like when I used to do it, it depends on what you have it set at. Like as players, we can individually adjust it, but as the DM, if you have it set at a certain level, that's what correlates to the stream because the stream is picking up your end of the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to take a look. And that's another reason why I didn't want to try to do too many sound effects or things today, is because I didn't know how that was all going to work. And I want to play with it a bit. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. When we last saw some of our heroes, they were walking towards the shipwright's house in Waterdeep. But before we check in with them, we should go back to Lyn Armaal. And on Lyn Armaal, the Cloud Giant Castle, we will find Bell and Dez. And as the day goes on, you're going to be reaching the coast around the evening. I got myself confused a little bit. I had told you guys that the castle would get to the coast in the evening, and that once you're in Waterdeep, Felgolos will meet you at the Yawning portal around 2 in the afternoon. So those were the times. So for you guys on the castle, you're sort of drifting west across the countryside. Anything in particular did you do during the day?
Nope. Sat and
Well-
meditated.
Belle would definitely be playing with the kids a little bit more to try and figure out the stories of what they've been told, to see if she can write any new lyrics or something like that for Fellinger to be proud of her.
Okay, they will tell you like some they'll tell you again, kind of in the way of children who totally innocent and don't really understand what they're saying. They're just basically repeating what they've been told. They'll tell you some stories about how the bad dwarves would always try to trick the honorable giants, and they would try to steal things from the giants and things like that. But the stories always inevitably end with the dwarves being caught and smashed by the giants, and the only variation is whether the giant decides to make a dwarf pie or a dwarf casserole, or a dwarf fritters out of the bad dwarves that he catches. And they tell you a couple of stories like that, and they giggle because they have funny endings from a giant child's point of view. And clearly they are intended to be humorous stories if you are a giant. But it's kind of like you get the idea, oh, these are kind of giant fairy tales that parents tell their kids. No wonder giants grow up hating dwarves.
To kind of just blink very, very slowly, very cautiously. She'll write down notes and say, if Kinraid's bad, bite him. Hey.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that's what Belle gets out of that.
Yes.
All right.
Everything that they said, all of the eating the dwarfs and things like that is. Oh my god!
If he's bad, bite him.
Bite him! She'll run over to Dez and say, "Do you know what they do to dwarves? They got Kinraid still in his room sleeping. Frosty might be misbehaved, and if he misbehaves, then I might have to bite him. Do you know that they easily smush dwarves into dwarf pie?"
At this point in time, Dez cracks open an eye and looks up at her and is like, "Well, I've heard that dwarf is good eating." And then he cracks a little bit of a smile.
Oh,
Like
also
he's-
kind
like
of
he's
pull
teasing
down
her.
her notepad, and she'll kind of like write down saying, "Kinraid tastes good," with big fancy question mark. Okay. She'll run back to the kids and try and get more stories.
Okay.
He closes his eye again and goes back to meditating and communing with what nature is up here.
All right. So, meanwhile, back in Waterdeep, you guys have walked down Dock Street, and you come to a large 2-story building that has a definite nautical motif. The roof line sort of juts out and up, kind of to make it look sort of like the prow of a ship. And there are ship's ropes that are worked into the scroll work along the eaves, and the windows look like oversized portholes that you would find on a ship for this building. And then there's some decorations in kind of a rock garden on either side of the stairs leading up to the main entrance. There's a couple of large ship's anchors that are there, and a big wooden sign that looks like the kind of brass plate that they would put on the back of a ship to identify the name. It says the Order of Master Shipwrights. And as you walk in, there is not a bell that sounds when you walk in, but about 20 feet ahead of you, there is a heavy oaken reception desk. And there is a smartly dressed, either human or half-elf female, short of her middle years. She is wearing an outfit that looks vaguely nautical, but not overly so. And she is seated behind the desk, and right next to the desk is a pillar, and this pillar is in the form of a ship's mast that rises up from the floor to the ceiling, and nailed to that mast there is a large brass bell with a rope that's just about high enough that a a grown person, a grown human, could come up and grab the end of the length of the rope and sound the bell. But as you open the door, this woman, she looks up and has a pleasant and practiced smile that comes to her face. And she says, "Welcome to the Order of Master Shipwrights. How may I help you?"
I nudge Fallinger.
Well, I need to inquire about a particular ship that may or may not have had its structure built here.
So you would be interested in looking at the records. May I see your guild membership papers, please?
Sure, it's right here. And he pulls out a small sack of gold.
Ah.
And he slowly slides it across the table. I'd like to persuade him.
She...
Just because you called him a him,
Her.
negative 10 points already. You're welcome.
Persuade her!
She looks at you and she says, "I'm not sure what you're about, but this is a guild hall of professionals. If you're not members of the guild, you'll have to have someone in the guild vouch for you, or conduct your search for you. I would not be at liberty to."
I whisper
do
over
that.
at Fallinger. Paperwork.
What guild is this again?
The Shipwrights Guild.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
We have
The
paperwork
order
delivery,
of Master.
Well, all right. I just wanted to test your loyalty to the guild. You passed. Here's my paperwork. And he produces the paperwork. Hey, what time you get off later?
Oh my god.
And she takes a look at the packet and she says, that appears to be a delivery, and it's marked for Mr. Whitley's eyes only. Are you... I can give it to him, but this is certainly not identification papers of any kind.
I mean, it's on the inside of the folder there.
Yes, it is, and the folder is marked for Lord Castor's eyes only. I cannot open that.
Well, that's fine. I would love to meet him person to person then. I'm sure a nice lady like you can make sure that happens.
Okay. Are you trying to mechanically make a skill check of some sort?
I don't know. Sure, I'm trying to be charming, but probably doing horribly.
So making a skill check or making a persuasion check?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'll
go
give it a
ahead
shot.
and make a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Oh my god. Okay. That Faldor and Mulek have this
I'm back, guys. I'm back. Sorry, I was away for a bit.
I know you're
Okay.
good. You're good.
You're baffled
Faldor-
that...
Yeah,
go ahead.
Faldor and Mulek get this sort of expression like, oh gosh, we got all the way here. We were so close, and now he's about to get us thrown out. And, Faldor's trying to think of something when, despite his choice of words and his opening and everything like that, this woman just sort of looks at him and says, why, Yes, I would be happy to. I would be happy to take you back to Mr. Whitley's office. Yes, you have
That's mighty
such.
kind. Go ahead.
If I might say, sir, you have such lovely eyes. And she titters and giggles a little bit.
Well, thank you, little lady. You know, I don't know what time you get off, but I got a private table over at the Yawning Portal. If you ever want to have a drink sometime.
Oh, such a charmer. And she blushes.
He looks over at Thaltor and winks at him.
I come up to you, whisper in your ear. I said, "Damn, Palliser, you could, talk the pants off a rattlesnake. Jesus, son."
And so she takes a little block of wood that has reception on it, written on it, and she turns it. It's one of those like little long triangle blocks of wood, and the side facing you says reception, and she turns it, and now it says back in 5 minutes. And she stands up, and she sort of does this unconscious thing where she sort of straightens her blouse a little bit, and she then gives you all a smile and says, "Yes, right this way." And she leads you back into a wide corridor at the back of the chamber, and there's a couple of doors on either side, and she goes to about the third door on the left, and there is there's a sign on it that says Office of the Secretary, and then below it is a brass plate that reads Lord Castor Whitley. And so she grabs the handle and opens the door. And as she steps in, she says, Lord Castor. And there is a older human gentleman. He's probably in his 50s, which for medieval times for humans, that's pretty old. And he's got a whether it's his hair or not, he's got what looks like a powdered white pompadour hairdo that if you think of the classic pictures of people like George Washington and some of the founding fathers, or some of the English generals of the day, the big curly white hair, and it's all down their back and all tied, and clearly this was all wigs that people were wearing. And he's wearing this big powdered white hair, and he stands up, and just as he was described to you, he's got this jacket with the big epaulettes and the gold fringe, but the jacket is open at this time, and you can see he's got a crisp white shirt on, and he immediately begins, as he stands up, he immediately begins to button his jacket again, with this big double row of fancy brass buttons across the front of it. And she says, Lord Castor, these gentlemen have a special package that they brought for you from, and she looks at you, Falliser, and she says, who did you say this is from?
I'm sorry, out of character. It's from
I've got his name. Hold on. It's
What the?
Roardam.
Roardam.
Beho.
Okay. That's it. Yeah.
And he brightens. He says, "Oh, splendid, splendid. That is quicker than I thought. Yes, my dear. Thank you very much for showing them in. Thank you. And he says, gentlemen, would you like some tea or some a little drop of grog?"
I'm good. Tea would be lovely. I'd like a glass of tea.
And he says, "Very well." He says, "My dear, could you bring us a pot of tea, please?" And she says, "Yes, Lord Castor." And she gives Faliger a warm smile, and then as you all get,
He
go
smiles
ahead.
back and he's like, "I like a little bit of extra sugar in my tea, if you don't mind."
Oh my god. So Theodore's just putting his hand in his face, just trying not to roll.
And she blushes a little bit, and she says, "Just a pinch," and she gives you a little wink, and then as you all go into the room, she will close the door quietly, and you hear her footsteps going back off down the hall, presumably to get the tea.
What? God.
All right. So, you are now in there with Lord Castor Whitley. He said, "Please, gentlemen, please sit down. Well, I see that Wordum didn't take any chances. He sent 3 couriers. I wasn't expecting that." And he holds his hand out expectantly for the package.
I'm going to try to slide a platinum piece on top of the letter I want to try to slide a piece of platinum on top of it in Faliger's hand.
Okay, so go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Yeah, I don't think Faliger can see that.
What? Oh.
You have the letter in your hand. I'm sliding what we had talked about at the office. I'm putting a piece of platinum on top of it, and I did it so slyly I don't think you could see it, how fast my hands moved.
Okay.
Yeah. As you raise this package up to him, there's mysteriously a platinum piece on it. And just about the time that you are wondering where that platinum piece came from, Lord Castor greedily reaches out and takes the envelope and the platinum, and he says, "Oh, such a thoughtful gift. Thank you." And he then tucks that into a pocket, and he looks at the seal on the package, sees that the seal has not been opened, and he says, "Oh, wonderful. And then he seems to he says, "Well, please sit down." And he goes around and he sits down and he begins to open the packet, and he begins to read it, and for a moment he's not he doesn't pay any attention to you. He's engrossed in reading whatever's in there. So you can, whatever you want to do at this point.
I look over at Faliger. I whisper in his ear. I tell him, I was like, go ahead and ask him the information you want and tell him that was from us to get the information we need.
I'm trying to find the notes, but
The Morkoth.
Morkoth, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ship that King Hekaton's being held prisoner on. But
Yes.
okay. Yeah, I need the information on a ship called the Morkoth. Was it, was her virgin body built here?
And he seems distracted a little bit, and he says, I'm sorry. You were looking for information on a ship. What was the name again?
It's the Morkoth. I do believe her kiln was laid here. Possibly.
The Morkoth. That name is not familiar to me. Can you describe this ship at all?
Do we have a character?
I could just tell you
Okay.
who captains it. I don't know anything else about the ship. Milik, what did your intel get? I mean, just what it was loaded with normally?
Yeah, no, I don't have much description. Just it was supposed to be full, but the holes appeared empty. So I don't know how many holes. I don't know how big the ship is.
Right.
I think one of you did. All three of you go ahead and give me a history check, if you will. So I think you did get some information. I think I remember telling you. Otherwise, if I didn't, it was something I meant to tell you.
I thought Mulek found out. I don't remember. Guidance.
I mean, just
Damn,
looking at my
nat 20.
notice. Yeah, looking at my note, I didn't have. If I heard it, I didn't write it down.
Okay, well then Faldor, it's one of these mastermind things again. It comes from a conversation you had with Mulek when you were in Yartar, as you were walking back to the Fat Dragon after you had spent the evening at that casino where you had that scrumptious and really expensive dinner, although nobody except Valarger knows how much it actually cost.
No, I paid for that.
Yeah. He paid for it out of gold he won off of you.
There you go.
But yes, the his contact, the bard that was performing there at the casino, she told him that the unusual thing about the Morkoth is that it has a design that is reminiscent of a squid. It has an unusual bow plane and some and rudders that or outrigger rudders that look like the trailing tentacles of a squid.
Oh, don't remember.
Oh, so I snap to and say, Lord, Whitney, the ship looks like a squid. It's designed squid-like. It's got outrudders that look like squid tentacles in the water. The bow of the ship has the figurehead of like a squid. It's very elaborate.
And he says, "Oh," and he puts down the paperwork, and he says, "And what, if I may ask, what interest is this of our friends at the gate?"
It's of my interest, and that's why the platinum piece was on your package.
Oh, very, very thoughtful. Well, in that case, yes. Now, I cannot swear that it is the Morkoth, but that ship sounds very distinctive. And I do recall hearing from more than one source that I consider reliable that a ship matching that description was supposed to have been made about 15 years ago, and her keel was laid at Sargauth Dockyard, which is rumored to be a shipworks in Skullport.
I'm thinking, with that's not Skullport. That's not Waterdeep, is it?
No, wait. Skullport, out of character. Isn't that? Wait a minute. Skullport, isn't that like underneath Waterdeep somewhere?
Yes. Why don't all three of you make me history checks, see what you remember or what you've heard about Skullport.
I wish they would give us a
24.
lore stat. This history is for the birds.
Okay. Yeah, between Mulek and Thaldor, you guys, actually with a 17, Faliger would know, yes, there's plenty of tales and songs that mention Skullport. Skullport is, respectable people think it's a legend, but it is a city that is in the Underdark, and somehow it is below Waterdeep. And there's all kinds of rumors about how you get from Waterdeep to Skullport, and one of those rumors is that if you go through Hallister Blackstaff's elaborate maze of Undermountain, the other end of Undermountain will lead you to Skullport. But that wouldn't explain how you could build a ship in Skullport and then get it out to the ocean. So there must be, if there is a shipyard in Skullport, there must be another way in.
That's a rabbit hole we don't want to go down, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
We could be here for weeks trying to do that.
Yeah.
Do you have any documentation on said ship? I mean, there's got to be a record somewhere of, its travelings, its make, model, make, description, something that we can have that's tangible.
The only way that we know about it having any connection to Skullport is from the interrogation of some rapscallions that have tried to work for some of our shipwrights and have been caught stealing, and then under questioning revealed that they had worked in Skullport. And of course, the authorities, they always want to know everything they can about that wretched place whenever they catch somebody. And when the people they question have a tangent connection to our guild, oftentimes word filters back to our members. But quite frankly, the only other evidence we have of it is reports from captains that have spied it afloat on the sea. There have been at least 6 documented sightings of a ship matching that description over the last 10 years.
I guess this was a dead end.
So hearing that real quick before, I know James wants to say something, but does that like change the way we're going about this as far as information wise at all, or? And I mean,
Well, I woke up with a better description of it, apparently.
So this thing's been around for quite a while then.
The ship's been around for at least 10 years. We have an idea of where it's going. So the question is, do we spend the time going where we think it's going and hope we find it, or find more intel on it, or do we spend more time here trying to find a piece that will help us scry on the ship, which I don't know if that will be worth it in the end. We may lose more time. I'm not as familiar with Waterdeep and this Skullport as maybe you two are, but it seems like it would be a challenge.
That's an understatement. Ba-doom-tsh.
Boy.
Now, something that doesn't require any rolls for both Faldor and for Falliger, given your backgrounds, given your roles in the party. You would both know that if there are any rumors about this, or if you wanted to find out any more information about Skullport or about any supposed shipworks in Skullport, a great place to go find information would be a dockside tavern where dock workers and sailors and other people hang out. They usually are, they always have tales, and get a couple of drinks in them, and give them some silver or some gold, and they'll usually start telling you anything they know. Now, of course, some of them will tell you what they think you want to hear, but doing insight checks or things like that could kind of help you figure out who's just making something up and who's telling you something worthwhile.
But there again, I look at Falliger and Mulek and say, do we really want to go down that rabbit hole and waste all that time?
Well, it depends. How fruitful is it going to be?
It could take us somewhere we don't want to go and we can end up in some trouble.
Well,
Yeah,
we've got the helm that could get us out of trouble. So
Not if they take it off his head.
That's true.
Well, I mean, let's be real. If that happens, it's tits up, boys.
Exactly. So I'm just thinking that's a risk we shouldn't take. I'm all for having fun, but that's a risk we shouldn't take. For the sake of it, for some reason, I had a light bulb moment. What's a light bulb? I had a candle moment and remembered better description of the ship. Maybe we can give that back to, the Lord on the high, and see if he can find it that way. Because we were very vague at first, so that might help. I mean, that ship's kind of ornate. It would kind of stand out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like, out of character, maybe we can use, what is it, Felgolos?
Yeah, the Dragon Lord?
The dragon.
Well, yeah, maybe we can use him and maybe some of his metallic allies to start scouting for this ship.
That's fair. We could tell him that back of the Yawning portal and tell him the description of the ship. And we know where it's heading. He would just they'd have to get ahead of it.
Yeah, and we got to meet up with him, right? So
2 p.m.
Yeah.
All right, so out of character, let's take a vote. So we don't want to go to Skullport.
No.
And if we do, why should we risk it?
I vote no because it's just not worth the risk.
Okay, what do you think?
I'll trust Thaldor's opinion on this.
Okay, let's. I guess Falliger would just be. He'd say, Well, we appreciate your time, sir. We know you're a busy man. We don't want to take too much of it up. And thank you for all your help.
Well, I hope that I have been helpful. If you come across that ship, then I would be interested in any information you have about it. It sounds suspiciously like something that pirates might use, especially if her keel was laid in Skullport.
Well, that's true.
Very well, gentlemen. And then, during your conversation, the lady comes back with the tea, and you pour out some cups, and he's happy to sit there and just chat with you a little bit if you have any kind of general information about the guild or about dock life in Waterdeep that you want to talk about. Well, you have your tea.
Right.
Otherwise, we can just skip to the end of that, and you guys can
Head towards the Yawning portal.
Okay. As you come back out, it's around 9:30 in the morning.
Oh, great.
And you're supposed to meet Felgolos at 2 p.m. And, right here on Dock Street, there are, any number of taverns that are frequented by people from the ships. Now, whether you choose to think about going to Skullport or not, if you think there's any information you could get out of those people, that you have a few hours that you could spend, chumming for rumors, in a couple of different taverns if you wanted to do that. Or if there's other ways you wanted to kill the rest of the time by exploring Waterdeep, you could do that. And I'm going to let you think about what you want to do as I go back to the castle for a moment. I think that Ivy had to drop off.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dez,
Yes.
your morning passed rather uneventfully. Anything you're going to do, particularly in the afternoon?
Pretty much just lay out my gear and take some time to mend, replace, restock, whatever. And then go through, his magical gear and druid stuff and
Okay.
see if he can find stuff for it.
Well, Belle, contrary to you all's experience of her being a seemingly boundless ball of energy, Belle seems to have met her match with these two kids. And after about most of the morning, she just is exhausted. And she finds some place that she can go and curl up. And so the kids, after about an hour after lunch, they discover where Dez is. And they walk in and they say, "Hey, mister, what you doing?"
Are they speaking in common?
Yeah, they're speaking
Okay.
in common.
And he's got his traveling kit all laid out on the grass, and he's looking over, or he's probably sitting there doing some leather mending. He kind of looks up and he smiles at them kindly. "Oh, being an adventurer and traveler of afar, when you have an opportunity to update your kit or fix and repair some of the little issues that may come along with wear and tear, you do that. You never know. It could be the difference in a situation of between life and death.
Oh. Well, that's too bad. Mommy, oh, that would fix things for her. You don't carry servants with you when you adventure?
No, I don't. I find the joy in using my own two hands.
And
Besides, it helps me know. It helps me learn things so that if I am out in the wilderness or caught somewhere and I need to figure out something, I know how to do most things instead of relying on someone else to save me.
Oh, yes. Well, Mommy always said that if we ever got lost in the woods, we could just go and find a group of small folk. And if we smashed 2 or 3 of them, the rest of them would do anything that we told them to do.
Oh my God.
Dez kind of chuckles slightly and goes, well, unfortunately, small folk, depending on what kind of small folk they are, if you try to force them to do something by making them scared or afraid of you, they can easily sometimes turn the table on you. And I don't think you want to experience that. So, if you make friends by asking politely, possibly offering an exchange of something that you can do or you have for good information, and you aren't threatening these people, there'll be many that don't have a problem with offering you kindness and help. And, if they end up being bad guys or something like that and whatnot, well, then you still have that reserve of bashing a few of them in, as you say, to make them cooperate. However, with honey, then you do vinegar.
More flies with honey than vinegar. Oh, I have to ask the ogres about that. I have to ask them what that means. But you mean being nice, like when we talk to Belle and we tell her stories and she likes to hear, and then she tells us stories that we want to hear.
Yep.
Like that.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
But
okay.
there are times where, sometimes you might have a little coin you can offer for someone's assistance. So you're basically paying them. You're giving an exchange of services, or perhaps something that they don't, that they would help them in the future. So why not trade them that information for whatever you're requiring, whether it's goods or a service or information. What I mean by you get more flies with honey than vinegar is if you are sweet in a way, if you are sweet and polite, you will more likely than not capture, I wouldn't say the hearts and minds of people, but they're more willing to help you. They're more willing to assist. But if you're mean and nasty like vinegar smells and tastes, well, then people aren't likely to stick around you. They're going to want to try and get away from you as soon as possible. Does that make sense?
And they look at each other and they nod and they say, there was a time, there was a person that came here some time ago. Too young to remember, but Mommy used to keep him on the wall in the room. He was a bird person, and Uncle told us that Mommy had been mean to him, but Mommy told us that he had come trying to steal from her, and she put him up there to make to remind everybody what happens when they're mean to the Countess.
Well, I understand, and sometimes that's called for, but does the punishment fit the crime? You know, she wound up killing that individual. And what he did, do you think what you've heard of him having done, do you think it's fitting what happened to him? And the fact that she then had him stuffed?
I don't know, because Uncle says he told stories like Belle and the other one with the what does he call it? The guitar. He told stories and sang songs, and I don't know if he told bad stories and sang bad songs, but if he was like Belle, then no, he probably would not have been on the wall like that. But
sometimes I think your mother was a little bit more aggressive than she should have been with some people, just because she thought that she could rule them or control them with fear rather than kindness.
Yeah, we went down. We were playing downstairs and we saw a big place where there were large chains, and my uncle calls them manacles. And he said that Mommy had the dragon as a prisoner there for a time.
She did, and now, have you had a chance to be around the dragon for a while now? For a few days?
Yeah, he's nice. He's nice.
So why would, if he's nice, why would she want to keep him chained up like an animal? Like someone that had done something wrong?
Well, it's like the other stories that Mommy told us. She would tell us bedtime stories about bad dragons, and that bad dragons always wanted to kill giants, and so giants had to kill the bad dragons. But and she said it doesn't matter.
That kind of stuff. Colors like the rainbow. Those are the bad ones. The ones that look like metal, those are the good ones.
Oh,
they help fight against the ones that are like the rainbow.
Oh yes, and Lord Fagala, Lord Felgolos, Felgolos. Lord Felgolos, he's like metal. So he's good.
He is a good dragon.
Yes, he gives us rides.
See,
Flies us around the
I will
castle.
tell you
It's
that
fun.
there are very, very few dragons in this world that would willingly give people rides on their backs. That's kind of a special privilege.
He says when we hold on to his wings, it tickles.
Oh,
I think he does. All right,
well,
and so
anyway, so he'll continue to discuss with the kids for a little while as his hands absently work on, fixing things, and he'll show some of the kids how to do stuff and all that.
Yeah, and after a while, what you're doing looks too much like work, and they decide that there's games to play somewhere else, so they go running off to play.
Yep.
And then we will go back to the dock side in Waterdeep. All right,
Going
so
back to the dark side.
did you guys decide what you wanted to do when you leave the?
We're headed back.
You guys are just gonna go to the Yawning Tavern or the Yawning Portal, or
Yeah, because we'll just wait there until
We'll have
Slim
breakfast
shows up.
and then
Yeah.
lunch.
okay, all right. Well, you go to the Yawning Portal, and you get there, and at the time of day that you get there, around 10 o'clock, you see Durnan over at the bar, and you see a stool that is tipped up next to the bar, and nobody is sitting on it. And that is the place, when any of you that have visited here before, you always see Volo sitting on that stool, but he's not here right now. But it's like Durnan just has his stool set aside for him, so that nobody else will sit there. And then there's tables on the main level, and then there's tables on the upper levels. There's at the bar, there's a sprinkling of people, but there's no 3 seats together at the bar. So if you guys want to sit
Let's
together,
just
you
make a
probably
table
get.
upstairs, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
A little bit more private.
Okay.
Bartender, if you may, please send up 3 ales, would you?
Oh, absolutely. You're looking for the pale ale or the dark ale?
Well, give us one of your celebratory spirits, please.
Oh, we'll do that, partner.
All right.
And so he just kind of somehow you get the sense that Durnan is more than he lets on, because you have seen people come into the bar, order drinks, and then walk other places, and somehow he always knows where to send the servers to bring the drinks. It's uncanny. It's like there's more than meets the eye to this guy. There's got to be. But he just always looks like a simple bartender. Of course, the stories go that he has been the bartender here for several centuries and doesn't seem to age a day. But whether those stories are true or not, nobody knows. So a few hours pass.
Well, as we're sitting there and the drinks come up and the server leaves, he looks over at Thaldor and he says, I don't think it went unnoticed, you sly dog. I know what today is.
What would that be?
It's your birthday.
Maybe.
Yeah, I might forget some things, but I don't forget my friends' birthdays.
That's mighty kind of you there.
Oh, it gets better. And he raises up his glass and he says, I'd like to sing a toast.
And everybody out of game. It's really my birthday tomorrow.
Oh,
Kinda
okay. All
figured.
right.
Yeah, I'll be 34 tomorrow. So,
Oh, nice.
Aw, just a little youngin'.
oh well.
Yeah.
Felliger stands up and he's
Young.
like, and he starts awkwardly singing happy birthday. He's like, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Thaldor. Happy birthday to you.
Cheers. And he swigs it down.
Make a performance check.
Oh goodness.
Well, and I cast prestidigitation to add a little bit of sparkles.
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
I feel bad.
Okay.
You didn't get my good voice, but you got what you got. Let's see. Hopefully my performance doesn't reflect.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what
Oh boy.
which voice of Felliger you got.
I'll cheat and use guidance because I'm a cleric.
Okay.
Whoa. There you go.
Oh,
That's persuasion.
Oh, shit.
Not
Oh.
performance.
oh no.
No,
Just say he could
it was right there. Oh boy, this is.
Oh,
Oh, I knew it. I just felt it in my gut that was gonna
Okay,
happen.
well, so we'll use the same. We'll use the same D4 roll, 13. So it's a. It's clearly this is not the best.
I don't
You've
have
heard
inspiration. Yeah.
Felliger sing. However, it's better than most people would sing. You know, with a 13, that's
appreciate it.
above
Maybe-
average.
Maybe singing to you in like a kind of a teasing voice. You know, it's
Right,
Like
teasing me
he's,
to-
he's-
Happy
yeah,
you're-
Birthday.
no.
You're drunk.
well, because
You're
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 singing it like a
half
drunk. You're singing it like a drunk.
Right.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I was
What?
say
You don't
that-
like my Marilyn Monroe?
I don't think
Happy
Felliger would be singing like
birthday.
that to Thaldor.
Yeah, yeah.
To you.
Right, there you go. But I was gonna say it'd be more like he's mocking me because he's half elf and he'll live twice my age. So he's like,
Yeah.
like you
Okay.
young
Yeah.
guy.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, that you don't draw the attention of people at other tables. So there's not a chorus that joins in, not a chorus of voices that join in with the birthday celebration. So yeah, a couple hours go by, or a few hours go by, and then.
Thank you, Ken. By the way,
Oh, you're welcome.
As you,
and Heather.
yeah, happy birthday, Michael.
Thanks. Yeah.
A person comes up the stairs and walks towards you, and this is not a person that you recognize, but there's clear recognition on his face, and the thing that sort of stands out about him is that he has this hair that is like the color of burnished auburn, and it is this imagine sort of an Elvis Presley style pompadour that then goes back into into long hair like Fabio, the male model, and his the guy that they always put on the 1980s romance novels covers, and it's
Look over
like
at Falliger and say he might be giving you a run for your money there, Falliger.
and and he's got this elegant embroidered coat and matching breeches on, and the color is a slightly reddish, slightly brownish, and there's a wide thread of gold weave that goes through it. And he's got dark shoes that have bronze colored buckles on the shoes, and then on at least 3 fingers of each hand, he has golden rings, and each ring has like a gemstone. And he walks over to you. And as he's walking up, like, you can see people just sort of, the eyes just sort of follow this guy, like, okay, who is this? Is this like, Volo's understudy or something? And he comes up and he sits down, and he has this grin, and he says, "Oh, well, hello, fellas. What have you learned? I tell you, I got here last night, and there's a lot of news. And
News.
you do recognize me, don't you?"
Can I do a smell perception check?
You can do an insight check. And
Insight.
yeah, you would guess from the color of his clothes, the color choices of his clothes and hair and everything, this might be what Felgolos would look like in humanoid form, but you know that dragons that have that shape change ability can basically choose what they look like. This
In
might
Draconic, in Draconic, I whisper, I say, if you're Lord Felgolos, you should really give Volo a run for his money.
And the man looks at you, and his eyes widen in surprise, and he says, "Oh, I thought this was just a nice something casual for a visit to Waterdeep."
And I start laughing.
And as we get ready to hear what Felgolos has learned and what you all may wish to share with him, our session is going to come to an end because we have reached time. Oh, right. Players, thank you guys for coming and hanging out this evening. And viewers, thank you for joining us tonight. This has been our session of the Sword Coast Chronicles. And it looks like, according to the stream, it looks like at least Twitch may have reset, but I'll check the recording and see. It apparently YouTube is less prone to those resets than Twitch is. I don't know why. I did figure out from a few weeks ago why I was having so much trouble, and it was related to problems with Spectrum. So it had nothing to do with Twitch, nothing to do with OBS, and nothing to do with YouTube. It was all because of Spectrum having some issues in this area. And so it was ISP related stuff. All right. So now normally I guess we can't talk about anything Paul is doing, but Michael, what do you have coming up on the Doors of Fear channel in the next week?
Well, I'll have a birthday stream tomorrow. I'll probably stream sometime tomorrow. Just playing a different few games, maybe some Jackbox or just something to lighten the mood and have fun for my birthday. Other than that, it's been a really crazy couple weeks. I just haven't really done much. Just, because because Saturday is my friend's memoriam Saturday that we're having for him. So yeah, it's been a rough month.
Okay. And then just to let people know what is coming up here, we will have on Saturday, we will have our Greyhawk Saturday night campaign. So come join us at 7:30 p.m. Eastern for that. And then we won't be having a game on Sunday, but on Monday, I will be doing Monster Monday. And this week, I'm going to be featuring a new construct on Monster Monday. And that construct is something called the Tomb Tapper. We're going to be talking about the Tomb Tapper's history in D&D. It's 5e stat block, sort of ways you can use it in the campaign, and some of the interesting things about that monster. So join us on Monday night, 8 p.m. And then we will be back here on Thursday night next week for Sword Coast Chronicles. And players, we will have, probably not next week, because I'm trying to gauge it on what I think the pace of your of how we get where we're going to go. We may well have a surprise.
What does that mean?
In a few weeks. So.
Oh yeah, that's worrisome.
Yeah. So, and I think it's going to be a surprise you guys are going to enjoy. I certainly hope it will be. But
maybe we'll level up.
We might have a surprise. And then what should be no surprise, since most of us here are on the U.S. calendar, what should be no surprise is that in 3 weeks, on the 25th, which is Thanksgiving, we will not be playing. So that
can we move it to Black Friday?
No. I'm going to be out of town that day with my parents.
Well, James knows what I mean.
Yeah, that respects everybody's opportunity to get. Now, I may do something special for Black Friday, but that's going to depend on a lot of different factors and things that are going on. So that is that, and there's a game that is coming up on, or there's a convention that's coming up on the weekend of November 12th through the 14th. And one of my players in Saturday night's game is running a table in that it is a convention called EUCon. And you can find information about it at warhorn.net. Now, it is running on the same weekend as the Roll20Con, but the two of them are very different. The EUCon is more of a community-driven con where the events and games and everything are by people from the community that are doing things. And he is doing a one-shot dungeon crawl session for his game. And then Roll20Con is kind of a more slick, professionally produced, where they have people that are a little bit better known in the community that are basically showing off features of Roll20 in some of the games that they're doing. So I know that all of Roll20Con stuff will be archived on the Roll20 YouTube channel, so you'll be able to watch that anytime. I don't know about all the EUCon stuff because my player in Saturday Night doesn't know that either. Hopefully this week we'll find out about that. So we will see everybody next Thursday evening, if not before. I am going to turn the music back up and then do a quick check on Twitch to see if I can find anybody else who is streaming some D&D and see if we can read them. So let's take a look at that.
I don't know if I'll. I have an appointment at 4 p.m. Thursday the 17th to be at the movie theater, so I might be a little late. But just let you know, I'm going to see Ghostbusters Afterlife. Thought I'd let you know that in advance.
Oh,
I need to go see that too.
You're watching it when?
Thursday the
When
17th, the day it comes out.
The 17th is a Wednesday.
The 18th, Thursday. Wait, yeah, 18th. I'm sorry, Thursday the 18th at 4 p.m. The day it actually, because movie theaters now will release it a day before, because technically it's not supposed to come out to the 19th, but it's Friday, so it's on the 18th. I'll be at the movie at 4 p.m. So if I'm a little late, it's a 2-hour movie. So if I'm a little late, don't be mad, but I won't give you no spoilers, but I'll tell you how awesome it is.
Okay.
You're
I
gonna-
heard
who-
people that have previewed it just say it is fantastic.
Who are you going to call to get your tickets?
AMC.
Oh, ba-dum-bum. Nice,
Ghostbusters,
James.
You can't
Nice,
call Ghostbusters
James.
to get your tickets.
Who are you going to call?
Yeah.
Someone else. He-Man.
Cool.
Okay.
But good
right.
call. But what's funny is Jason Reitman was the kid in the birthday scene that said, my dad thinks you're full of crap. So
Huh?
it's kind of funny. Yes, in the birthday scene at the very beginning of Ghostbusters 2 when they're doing the birthday party,
Yeah.
Jason Reitman is the kid with the director's son is the one wearing the braces, and he looks at Ray and says, "My dad thinks y'all guys are full of crap." And he's the one that directed the brand new Ghostbusters movie. So come on.
That's funny.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so he's been involved in Ghostbusters his whole life. So if anybody was directed a Ghostbusters movie, it should have been Jason Reitman a long time ago.
Hmm.